Hello and welcome, my friends. I'm Michael Jerome. I want to say thank you for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be listening to Give or Take by Giveon. Now, I have listened to Giveon before. His last albums had a couple songs that I really enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed World We Created and Heartbreak Anniversary. I think those are two songs where if you're going through some relationship issues, you're definitely going to feel those. Now, preface this. To have a girlfriend, my heart's not broken, so don't expect tears to fly. But Giveon is known as an artist who makes a lot of music around love and around relationships. But regardless, I can still relate to that from my past experiences. And more than anything, I'm excited to just hear his voice sonically. I love his music. He's a very deep singing voice. A lot of times when you think of singing voices, you kind of expect something high-pitched, something super melodic. But his is very low and calming. So, yeah, all I'm really looking forward to and going into this album is just some good music, some good sounds. Not expecting lyrics to like really change my life or anything like some of the other projects we've reviewed on the channel. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's just hop right into this. We got Giveon, Give or Take, Track 1, Let Me Go.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm sick right now. I feel sick.
I just want to say something real quick. I am on Genius, so I do see that it's his mother saying these things. Which is really beautiful to have your own mother, after gaining mainstream success, have your own mother, like, just say that. But particularly, I just want to say, like, as a general point, it's important to tell people that you're proud of them when that is the case. Like, there's a lot of people I know in my life, a lot of my friends, a lot of my homies, graduating college, going on to big jobs. I mean, I'm just really proud of them. So I try to make a point to say, like, hey guys, y'all are killing it, and they do the same. So just in general, like, hey, spread positivity when it's due, and when it's not, like, try to help people. So that was really random, but it's important. Let's keep it going. Ooh. I love those kicks. His voice is so good. Another side note. A lot of the albums that we've reacted to in the past week or so, their choruses, and I'm specifically talking about the Drake album, just a lot of the choruses were just repeat. By that I mean, like, you just say the same line or two over and over and over and over again, and it drove me nuts. I was like, man, switch it up. This is getting boring. This is getting repetitive. I think that's one thing that Giveon and a lot of R&B artists who got it right. That's something they do. Like, they have choruses that mean something, and they have choruses that sound good and are impactful, and I think that's so important.
People make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
People don't always agree with each other.
No, they don't. That was an awesome intro. Yeah, I particularly loved his mother giving sort of the first part and then the outro of the track. I think that was beautiful. Kind of just the typical Giveon stuff in the verses, but a really nice chorus. Sonically, I love that. I love those kicks in there. Gave it a lot of energy. But yeah, overall, great song. Probably going to go in the playlist. But let's just hop onto the second one. We got Scarred.
Dry your eyes, this is hard, but it's okay. I just don't want you same way you want me. Stay the night, this is hard, but it's okay.
There's definitely, I want to say matureness, or at least self-awareness about this, where you know that you're not ready for a relationship, but yet there's also kind of an immatureness about it, where it's you've led this person on, or if you've gave them the idea that you're ready, when clearly you're not. But yeah, we'll let it finish up. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, that was beautiful, And I think it has a clear emphasis on the importance of knowing yourself, knowing when you're ready, because you don't want to hurt someone that you have feelings for, at least that you care about. Because in those situations where you're like, I don't want to lead you on, I don't want to commit to this, you still care about the other person. So that's where it gets sad, because you don't want to put another person in pain because of your own like lack of readiness. Yeah, I mean, that's an important track, and a lot of people, I don't want to say that they're scared of being lonely, but the thought of being alone is frightening, and they jump in before they're ready, and this is exactly what happens. So I feel like there's going to be a decent amount of people who can relate to this track, or on the flip side, are the person who gets led on and is the person who gets hurt the most. So yeah, either way, it's relatable and it's a powerful song. We're going to go ahead and hop into the third track, and that's titled December 11th.
Butterflies in my stomach, enough to make me fly away.
Oh, I like that vocal inflection there.
Can't believe I lost you in the crowd. I think about you every day.
Yeah, this is a nice little interlude. Just a woman that he saw at one of his shows on December 11th, I guess. So if you're a woman from Houston who has pretty brown eyes and you were in viewing range of Giveon on December 11th, there's a good chance he likes you. But yeah, we're gonna go right on. And nice, there wasn't a whole lot there. We're going to the fourth track, This Will Do. Oh, I love this sonically. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so that was This Will Do. I do have some stuff to say about this track. I kind of talked about this on one of my previous album reactions. Kendrick Lamar, I believe it was the one where they're both arguing with each other. I forget what it was called. But I said in that one way that a lot of arguments are settled is just with sex, and that's how the track ended. Go check out that video. Go check out that song. But I'm getting the same sort of vibe here, or at least from Giveon's perspective, he's kind of just taking advantage of this woman. Like, I don't want to say leading her on, but I mean just the lyrics here. He says, "Get a kiss or two because you listened to me. This ain't real, but this'll do." He's trying to get appeased, sort of like physically, by, I don't know if it's like a fan, someone who appreciates his music. It seems like, yeah, I mean, just kind of using her in that way. I would say this, though. I would argue that there's an epidemic of lust going on right now. Forget COVID-19. This sort of stuff affects people all day for months on end. Like, being led on, like, emotional pain that deals with love is something that can affect you for such a long time. And yeah, I mean, the last couple tracks really have been talking about that, like leading people on. This one is him, like, kind of, I don't know, using a fan. I don't like using the word, like, use someone, but it's essentially what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Love is something that, you know, it should come from here, from your heart. You can't even see me. From your heart, it should come from there. And it shouldn't be thinking with your dick. It shouldn't be thinking for sexual purposes. But anyways, I regress. We'll move on. The next track, Get to You. Oh. This one sounds incredible again. That's what you told me. I'ma be honest, I can't. Wouldn't be honest, I swear. Nights out in the streets, fill me up like I need. Another song just sounds so good, man. You know what collab we need? Maybe this is a thing. I'd have to check. but his voice would pair so well with Sampa. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Sampa. If you aren't, if you like this kind of music, you would probably definitely enjoy Sampa. He's very piano heavy. He also has a very, like, I don't want to say very deep, but a deeper singing voice, and he sounds incredible too. I don't know if there's a pairing, if there is a song with them both on it, but that would be incredible to hear. But yeah, I don't know why his voice just reminded me of him in this song. Sounds so good. Alright. So that was the end of Get to You. Thoughts sonically, again, sounds amazing. I will say this so far about the album. A lot of the lyrics are just very general, and a lot of that's going to contribute to allowing a lot of people to relate to it, in which I see where you can relate, but I kind of wish we get sort of more personal stuff about Giveon. And I feel like maybe he is being personal, but I don't see a lot of distinction from this to his last album, and that's not a bad thing. His last album was great, and I do love his music. But when you talk about one subject over and over and over and over again, you kind of have to make it general, or I don't know. Like, I wish there was just a different type of content we get from him. That's one reason that I prefer hip hop over R&B, and I love R&B. R&B is definitely more of a vibe. I listen to a lot of R&B when I'm like doing homework or working, but it becomes very one-dimensional sometimes, and you know, it seems like this is going to be another album, relationships all the way through. That's the content, and I don't hate it. It's what he's good at. He has a winning formula for it, but you know, could use some variation. But again, I regress. We'll go ahead and move on to the next track, Trying to Be.
You know, with me it's hard because it's only honesty. I told them I'm in love with you, but they're okay with being number two. I'm all in, but I'm just a man with flaws. When the song ends,
oh my god, the vocals right here. Oh, real quick, Gene said that was a pre-chorus, but the vocal swing right there was incredible, man. I love that. It sounded so good. Jeez. Oh, the beat too. This is my favorite part of the song right here. Alright, so that was Trying to Be. There were some nice nuggets in there. Obviously, trying to be like the best you can be for your partner, which is what we all strive for. Also, some really cool lines. He says, "All that I can be for you when you're not with me, it's hard because because it's lonely." Which, again, I think a lot of us can relate to. When you're with this special someone, it's such a high. And when you're not, you just miss them, and it's not being clingy, that's just the reality of when you're in love with someone. But yeah, my favorite part about that track was that pre-chorus. Just the way he made his voice, I don't know how to describe it, but pre-chorus and that sounded so good. But again, another song just sounds great. And that's where he can kind of get away with only having one subject matter, is that everything just sounds good. And this is definitely, I'm feeling like so far, an album where you can just throw it on when you're doing something, or when you're just looking for some chill music. It could be deeper, there could be more dimensions to it, but yeah, it sounds so good, so I can't complain. We'll move on to the next track, and it's called Make You Mine.
Good as it gets for me. Sit me down if you want, teach me, girl. I'll be yours if you want, just like you.
Gosh, another one just sounds so good, man.
All five and hard. Can't help it.
Alright, so I understand that outro part too. See, and that's where I'm very different than Giveon. Like, you can probably pick up on my philosophy on love, and I take it slow. I made sure I found the right person, and I don't dive in super fast. So if you're someone where you just fall in love very quickly and you end up rushing into it, then a lot of these tracks are probably going to be more relatable to you, which is perfectly fine. We're all different. Track 8, July 16th.
I wanna ignite, take it slow, cause I know where this can go. Moving too fast, like 31, still having fun. Together every day, think that's enough. Sorry, girl, I came from. Just trying not to fall in, but it's on my mind. Will you say it back to me?
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
I can't ignore.
You know, that was a really beautiful kind of interlude sort of thing there. I really liked that last verse he had. It may be too soon to say it, but it's on my mind. But it's on my mind. Will you say it back to me? You said it back to me. It's beautiful. I mean, I think he's talking about who's going to say I love you first, and that's obviously a big step in a relationship. So, yeah, this cool part, and, you know, been there too. It's scary, man. I don't know. At least for me, where it means a lot to me. Like, if I'm going to say it to you in that, like, romantic sense, like, that's kind of like a commitment to me. Like, if I'm going to tell you that I love you, what does that mean to me? If I say I love you, love to me is sacrifice. It means you put another person or your partner like ahead of you, and you do everything in your power to appreciate them. So yeah, it really depends on your definition of love and how much weight it carries. So for me, it took a while to say it, and I knew she was like waiting for me to say it, but it's not something you want to rush into. I know some people, like, they'll just tell you that, you know, I love you right away. Like, I don't know. And obviously there's different types of love. Like, I love my homies too, but not the same way. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool track. It was cool. It was relatable. And another one that just sounds good. Every single song on this sound amazing. And he also mentioned the album title. He tied that in as well, which is cool. But we'll go ahead into the next track, which is entitled For Tonight.
We've been done long before it all began. Can't keep this up, but I just.
Oh my god, man. Stop it, Giveon. This sounds so good. Like, am I just like happy right now? Why do I like everything? This one in particular, though, I don't know this definitely has a mainstream feel to it. This one's probably gonna get streamed a lot. That, or I just really like the beginning. I mean, I've heard the first, I've heard the first 37 seconds, and this is already, I think, probably my favorite song, just because it sounds that incredible. But the lyrics here are awesome too. I mean, he admittedly said that he falls quickly. So, I mean, knowing that it's doomed from the start, especially if you fall in love quickly, you grow that attachment quickly. That's gotta suck, man. That's gotta hurt. But again, like, just the piano in the back. I've said it before. I'm a sucker for piano, and I'm a sucker for strings. And yeah, this is beautiful. So I'm excited to keep it going. Oh my god. This is so good. Oh, that is clever. That is so clever, let me tell you why. So in the pre-chorus, he says, honest, honest, that's just a game. We know we both can't play. Then in the chorus, he says, we'll stay behind closed doors, like in a bedroom, because all I want to do is lie with you even though it's wrong to lie with you. So obviously it's like two-way street. Like he's talking about honesty and lying, not telling the truth, and he's also lying with you, as in like lying in a bed with you. Wow, that was really clever. I'm in love with this song. Jeez, this one, I don't know. Everything has sounded so good so far, which is great. I don't know what it is about this one. There's like a different energy. I don't know if it was the piano or just the way he's singing, but I'm loving this song. Let's keep it going.
Even though it's what we want, can't keep this off. No. Honest, that's just
This is the best song on the album so far, at least.
even though it's alright.
Wow, that was my favorite track on the album so far. I did have to check real quick. It was the lead single too, and I didn't listen to any of the singles on this. I wanted to hear it all in its entirety. But I can see why he did that, because that was incredible, man. I mean, let me see here. He dropped that September of 2021. I can't believe I haven't heard this song. Did it not do well? I don't know. I can't see the streaming numbers on mobile, but wow, that was really fucking good, man. Oh jeez, I really like that clever line that I mentioned in the beginning too, but I think it's the piano is the big thing for me there. And obviously the other songs have used a bunch of piano too, but I don't know. I can't put a finger on it. That one was just a little different to me, and I really liked it. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next track, which is called Lost Me.
Instead, and it's right in a belly now. I'm not looking for the fun. Played up off and now I'm having fun. I'm done cause I always get hurt. Won't be here for long. Baby, you can hit me if you want. But now I gotta put myself first.
I don't know. That's kind of like what I was just talking about. I don't understand that. I never have, and that's fine. I mean, I'm just not that kind of person. But he says, I'm not looking for the one later, but for now I'm having fun. I'm done because I always get hurt. He says that one line after. He says he's just looking for fun. I mean, when you're not looking for meaning in love, the only thing you're looking for is pain. Like that's the only thing that's bound to happen, at least in my eyes. And I understand that not everyone is meant to get married. Not everyone has to rely on another person. Not everyone is looking for that same meaning that I am. But that's definitely one area where I'm like, I just don't understand a lot of times. Like, if you're going in it simply for pleasure and strictly physical things, like, I feel like you're missing out on so much at the price of heartbreak. But I don't know. It's not my thing. I have nothing bad to say about people who, are chasing just, the physical connection. I've got nothing bad for you. I have many friends who are that way, but it's not something I can relate to. Anyways, we'll continue.
But if you're looking for love, that's when you lost me.
I guess that's fine. I mean, that line just said it in itself. I mean, he says, we can kiss and we can touch and do it often, but if you're looking for love, that's when you lost me. Like I said, that's fine. You heard my perspective on it. I guess the important thing is that if you are one of those people, just be upfront about it. Like, don't hurt someone who feels the way I do, like, who's looking for a real connection. Like, be upfront. That should be one of the first things that, we talk about. Like, hey, are you looking for something long term? No? Yes? That lets you know right then and there. But yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking when someone's just in it for the physical aspect and not for everything else, and the other person is not the same way. Let them know. Communicate. Anyways, we'll move on to the next song, which is Lie Again.
Too honest to me. This time it's okay to lie to my face. I pretend no one has had you like I did.
Alright, so that was Lie Again. It sounded cool. To be honest, I didn't really like that track too much. I feel like there wasn't much being said. And he's talking about how his partner has been in other relationships or maybe cheated on him, or I don't know. Something like that. Lies being told. But, I mean, I don't know. Song just didn't do too much for me, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. Next song is called Another Heartbreak.
Tears don't fall when you're right here. Perfect for me, that's my fear. I can't take another heartbreak now. Not saying that will fail, girl, I just know that I'm scared.
Yeah, it was a beautiful chorus right there. Just saying that he's been through a lot of failed relationships. He's had his heart broken many times, and not sure if he can commit because of that, which is a very mature thing to say, so I appreciate that. We'll keep it going.
I'm sure you're for me, girl, I know it. 'Cause I can't take another heartbreak now.
To the chorus.
Not saying that will fail, girl.
Okay, so that was Another Heartbreak. I'd say it had one of the strongest choruses on the album. A lot of these songs just aren't going to impact me the way that I know a lot of other people could be impacted. And that's because, you know, I'm in a good relationship right now. I don't have my heart broken. But I know how some of these songs hit when you are in that state. So I feel it to be unfair to really hate on a lot of these songs, even though they're all about the same thing, which is a little bit frustrating about Giveon. Like, I'd appreciate if we get something new, something different, something unique. A lot of these songs are about slightly different things about relationships, but still overarching are very similar, which, you know, it is what it is. We'll go ahead and continue on to the third to last track, which is called At Least We Tried.
I know I have said this was one day. How'd I lose control and end up falling?
It's the same thing again, man.
Running around it, but when we cross the line,
He makes it sound good, though. He's saying the same shit over and over again, but it sounds great.
at least we tried.
You know, that's actually a fair point. The one thing you don't want to do in life is live with regret. And if you have feelings for someone, let them know and be direct about it. That's something that I know I can relate to. But, you know, if you truly care about someone and you are having those feelings, the last thing you want to do is suppress them for an extended period of time. And the only thing that's going to bring you is pain, man. And it's going to eventually lead to regret. So just do it. It's tough. It's hard. It takes courage. But be courageous. I do love this chorus, though. Okay, so that was At Least We Tried. That's actually one of my more favorite songs on the album. I know I said at the beginning where it's like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. But actually, it's a little different. It's not about entering a relationship or being in a relationship or regretting a relationship. It's about not regretting one and saying, like, hey, at least we explored our options and didn't suppress or lie about our feelings. And I think that's something that's very important and is something that needs to be heard by a lot of men, especially because, you know, we're largely expected to make the first move, and that is, as much as society is changing, still a reality that men are supposed to be the ones who initiate it. Now, is it always the case? No, but in general, that's just the way it goes. So If you are someone who's more reserved, more introverted, who struggles, talking about your feelings, that's something you have to work on. And I've learned this, and I realize just how important that is. But anyways, I regress again. Let's move on to the second to last track in the album, which is called Remind Me.
Say you love me, you got away with words where the lies you tell mean something.
Oh, he did something with his voice right there. I like that chorus, that vocal inflection was nice. I just like the chorus, man. Verses are nothing crazy to me. Nice little somber ending too. I'm here for it. Alright, so that was Remind Me. I particularly liked the chorus. Verses weren't doing a whole lot for me. Geez, just every single track on this album has sounded so good, so smooth. One thing that I will say, and I'll hold some of my thoughts still towards the end, but a lot of the tracks, it feels like Giveon is not putting a whole lot of risk in, or he's not exploring anything new. Like here, he explored a new vocal inflection, which was nice, was refreshing to hear. But he's just sticking with the same formula, kind of over and over and over again, which I think is more detrimental than it is beneficial in the long term of things, at least from an artist perspective. Probably not from a business perspective, but we can get deeper in that at the end. Let's go ahead and listen to the last track of the album, which is called Unholy Matrimony. Not ready for marriage, eh? Well, this shit's just really depressing, isn't it?
Love will give you what you need, but also take what you don't appreciate.
Alright, let me get off the phone because I got some crying to do.
That must have been one wild phone call, man.
Love you.
Aw. That was the end of Give or Take by Giveon. I'll share some final thoughts here. There's one particular one that I have in mind, and that is repetitiveness of content. So I gotta preface this by saying, if you're at the end of a relationship right now, if you're heartbroken, just ignore the critique I'm gonna give, because obviously these lyrics are gonna hit you way different than they hit me. And I've been there too. Like I know how it feels, and when you find an album that just speaks to you, or feels like every lyric is talking to you, don't let what my thoughts are sway you from disliking it or feeling like, oh, this guy's an idiot. What do you mean? All these songs are incredible. Just not in that space of time right now. I was when like Nectar came out. Nectar by Joji. If you haven't listened to that album, one of my favorites of all time. And it doesn't get great recognition, but just at the time, the lyrics just hit me different, and I am forever grateful for that album. I have it on vinyl. I love that album so much. And this could very well be that album for you if you're going through this at this time. But from my perspective, this really shows little to no growth from his last project. And I know it's only been a little over a year turnaround, which is pretty quick in the music industry. At least from what I used to. I mean, I freaking was waiting for a Kendrick album for 5 years, so to me it's pretty quick. But there's not a whole lot of new content here. In fact, there's no new content. He's talking about the same stuff he has, which is completely fine. He's comfortable in that lane. But I wish we get something different, like something new, something that's going on in your life, unless the only thing you're doing is relationships. And he does like branch out to different facets of relationships. You know, he talked about like leading people on. He talked about just strictly being in it for the physical factor. talked about being afraid to commit because of being heartbroken, which, if you add them all together, is like, well, how can all that be possible? You're the one leading them on. You're the one initiating it. How are you the one that's heartbroken? And overall, to me, it kind of just feels like something that's kind of fake, where he's just saying all this stuff because he knows people are going to be able to relate to it, and it's going to get him a lot of streams, and he knows that this is his bag, this is where he's going to be successful in. So he's probably been heartbroken, he's probably gone through this stuff before, I understand that, but a lot of this album to me just feels like an algorithm made in order to generate streams, and it doesn't feel like it's coming straight from the heart, which could be completely bogus, and I don't know. Something about it just feels fake to me. And it's not every track, but I mean, you can't make a 45-minute album about the same topic, I feel like, and not have this sort of feeling, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's a really bad take, and I don't mean to disrespect Giveon at all. I mean, obviously he's been through stuff. Obviously he's been through heartbreak, but I don't know. Just expected the next step, the next evolution. Like, if you've been through heartbreak for 4 or 5 years, like, what are you gonna do next? But hey, it is what it is. I will say every single song on this album sonically is pleasing. Everyone sounds good, and this is gonna be an album that I'll throw on, like, when I'm doing homework, when I'm just looking for a very chill vibe. And there are some really nice golden nuggets of lyrics in here. It's just that, I don't know, just didn't hit me the same. And that idea of it feeling kind of fake to me could just stem from me not being in that emotional state, and just me not being able to relate to the lyrics directly. And there's nothing wrong with that. All in all, as of right now, I will give it a score of, honestly, probably like 7.2 out of 10, and that score is being carried by the music itself, and his voice. He has an incredible voice. It's on full display here, and by the song For Tonight, is that what it was called? For Tonight, I believe that's what it was. Double check here. Yeah, For Tonight. Evidently it's been out for a very long time already, but I haven't heard it before. And that was my favorite track on the album, without a doubt. That was number one for me. There weren't any tracks that I particularly disliked. They all sounded good. So, for those reasons, it at least deserves that score. But yeah, man, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It helps me out a ton. Still a small channel. But, you know, if you enjoyed some of my takes, if you got some value out of this, I'd really appreciate it. But most importantly, leave a comment. Last video I did on Lupe Fiasco album got a ton of feedback, and I interact with all your comments, and it was so awesome just being able to see what a lot of you are thinking about on the music, your takes on it, and I learned a lot too, so I definitely appreciate all the comments. But yeah, thanks again for clicking the video. Go ahead and end it here. I'm Michael Jerome. Thank you. See ya.